Hey, look who's back. Try this one on for size. They call it the therapy session. Warning, major Ratatouille and Midnight Sun spoilers ahead. Some people feel like plastic bags. I feel like Anton Ego. Instead of being a tall and lanky food critic that delights in writing out lethal culinary reviews, his review literally kills one of the greatest cooks in the Disney universe. I'm an average height and wide video game reviewer, a villain to many a developer, publisher, and gamer alike. Now by the end of Ratatouille, Ego is served a dish so well made and so intimate that it triggers post-traumatic stress euphoria. He drops his pen before finishing the meal, then demands to see the chef and walks out without saying a word. And the next time you see him, his menacing air is gone. He's bright. He's happy. He's also still a snob. Ego has this saying he says, I don't like food. I love it. If I don't love it, I don't swallow. And in a way, it mirrors my own approach. While I personally believe the overall quality of media has improved over the years, the sheer overall quantity has also become daunting in tandem. I am swallowing more frequently than I was years ago, but I'm also not swallowing more frequently. Why? Because on average, most games are average, so they get an average reaction out of me. Now this is dangerous because not being disgusted or amused in this industry is what we call a no bueno. Neutral reactions don't go over very well in a terminally online world that plugs in for a reaction demanding spit or swallow. Now all of this is to frame my most recent experience with Midnight Suns. There I was, sitting in on the Escapist newly released stream watching the playthrough of friend and coworker. I was feeling general ennui with what was on display. Now I get paid the same whether I like a game or not. I'm not even reviewing this one, so I can honestly say I was whelmed. Not overwhelmed, not underwhelmed, just whelmed. Understand, I frequently feel I am 1 degree detached from these kinds of games. By 1 degree detached, I mean some games are very clearly made for fans of a specific genre or IP. Now there's nothing wrong with that, I just don't have feelings, good or bad, about Mario, XCOM, or Marvel by their own virtues. So when games like the new Mario plus Rabbids or Midnight Suns offer themselves up as their own selling point, it's already failing me. It's like a sales pitch that goes, you should buy this because it is this. The only reasonable follow-up is, what is this? And if it doesn't answer that in a reasonable manner, then I'm not buying. And for the most part, Midnight Suns sells itself on itself. It feels like Firaxis Games made another XCOM game, but this time they slapped in cards and Marvel licensing because that's what the cool kids are into. And the game tries to throw these dynamic yet somehow hollow cutscenes and dialogue your way. You've got Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Blade taking turns ripping their respectively cocky, sage, and too cool for you lines while you just kind of stand there. The big bad is Lilith because we don't really know any other demon queens, summoned by Hydra because Nazis like to summon demons for some reason. And to top it all off, your character is the resurrected offspring of Lilith, whose personality seems to have not been resurrected alongside him. And honestly, I'm not put off by any of this. I'm not turned on by it. Speaking of which, there's a dating/friendship sim attached. Oh goody me, as if the quippy quips of quippage Marvel writing has reduced itself to wasn't enough. Here's a section that encourages quippy quippery disguised as coffee talk. It's safe to say I'm flinching on the inside, because so far the dialogue is rehashed and predictable from the ground up. Example, you arrive in New York City. You bump into a pedestrian, they bump into you, whatever. And they say, come on, let's say it together. Hey, I'm walking here. But while attempting to woo Blade, the dialogue is not that. It's as if the clouds part and give way to characterization. Yes, it is a little awkward, but what kind of small talk did you expect between an out-of-touch resurrected demon spawn and a conscripted daywalker fighting for humanity? Not a lot in common there. It's a genuine moment. You ask Blade if Blade is his real name. He retorts if your name is really the Hunter to put it into perspective for you, because of course his name isn't Blade. What kind of a mother names a child Blade or the Hunter? Think about it. Your mother. The deadpan revelation that your legal name is literally the Hunter leaves him flustered. It leaves me flustered between chuckles. Your character is naive and innocent, unaware of human customs. Blade is still guarding himself, but he unclenches his emotional fists as he realizes you're genuinely trying to connect with him. Finally, some good frickin' dialogue. It's as if the endgame characters have stopped catcalling the player. You get to share a sincere wink and pointing of finger guns with the game, bang bang. Yeah, it's cheesy. Cheesy ain't a sin. Poor execution is a sin. It melts me, it connects with me. It reminds me of all the other times a game formed that kind of moment with me. My jaw drops and I demand to know everyone who scripted this wonderful moment. I want to invest in their future with more of my time and my money. I'm glowing, and I feel I got the spring in my step again. I'm also still a snob. Back to Ratatouille. Anton Ego confesses in his final review to be a little mean-spirited and unimportant in the grand scheme of things, but he doesn't offer repentance. He detracts from his poor understanding of Chef Gusteau's famous motto, anyone can cook, but he doesn't take back the review that removed one of the restaurant's 4 stars, which ultimately led to the chef's death at the start of the movie. Likewise, this one interaction gave me so much new perspective. I offer no apology for my dispassion for the rest of the game prior. If anything, the game should apologize for dragging me through the muck for an hour to find something even remotely shiny. You're showing right here you can do better and you just don't? I'm also not going to rewrite old reviews. I think they still hold true and they're not mean-spirited for my own pleasure. But I do owe an apology to the games I didn't push enough for fear of being unreasonably hype. I don't feel bad at all if I dislike someone's favorite game and they hate me for it. In the grand scheme of things, your personal enjoyment should dwarf my personal opinion, right? However, I do lose sleep thinking that maybe some innocent bystanders spent their hard-earned money on my recommendation, and it didn't quite give them that same level of satisfaction. The guilt eats me that somewhere in a rundown shack barely offering any shelter from the cold winter, someone's eating their 33rd cold bean dinner to save for a small Christmas treat. They give every last purchase weeks of thought while they toil away at their miserable part-time job in the coal mines. They only get one chance a year at happiness. Better make it count. And when it comes time to pay the piper, it's just another disappointment in a long line of disappointments. Hey, I'm walking here, they sadly whisper to themselves, tears streaking down their eyes. I could have saved them from getting burned, but I lacked the courage. And Midnight Suns gives me that courage to say, the first few hours are a lifeless showing of IPs that won't entice anyone who isn't already sold on Marvel characters, XCOM combat, playing cards, and a tacked-on dating sim. The characters you know and love fall prey to the writing and are either too lifeless or caricatures of what's expected of them. How am I so certain of this? Because Midnight Suns offers its own counterpoint. It shows itself how to properly execute grounded moments, and it just doesn't. That's my main issue with most games these days. It's not the hammy action or the cheesy dialogue or the bready filler. These are fine on their own. It's the inconsistent execution, randomly spewing out a slice of bread wedged between 2 slices of ham, or a grilled cheese sandwich composed of the thinnest Kraft single you've ever seen between 2 loaves of bread. It whips up one decent sandwich after 2 hours, and while I am the gambling type, I'm not sticking around to see what else it throws at me before the next decent sandwich. Given the current trend, the next one won't come for another 2 hours. But if I do find a savory morsel, I'll make sure to save you a bite. Yeah, we'll look out for each other. 2023, it's you and me.